Okay, Patriots. Holy fucking shit. Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me? Please let me know you can hear me. And can I get the chat up here, please? I need a chat. I need chat so I can see what's going on. The radical left is trying to destroy me. I'm back. I have audio. I have audio. It's a miracle. Can you put this on the other screen, please? I'm like, my dad is so disappointed in me right now. We're like into the next hour. It was supposed to be Cornell West. It was supposed to be Cornell West. And my dad hates me. My dad fucking hates me. My dad is like, you're a loser. Like, I have texts from him saying he said he's almost unhappy that he's cheating on with my fiance right now. That's how sad he is. We're trying to get the chat up. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Thank you. Donate to JL.com. He was apparently JL is not too happy with the microphone. It's over on the couch right now. It's having a timeout. It might be timeout for life for that microphone because he's mad that his microphone broke, even though it was clearly he was trying to. Isn't it clear? Everybody, can we take a breather? Thank you for joining us again. I hope everybody joins up. We're starting to see those numbers tick up again because obviously the radical left wanted to silence me. Did you see that? Did you see that? I was coming here bringing patriotism, and like all I was saying was my dad makes me earn his love. Okay, the Joe Biden, the sleepy Joe Biden with Hunter Biden method of we have to love unconditionally. That's so weak. That's such a weak way of loving. And that's why my fiance, Bettina, right now is having me sign a prenup because she wants me to earn her love. She gets all of my possessions and money unless I stay married to her for 30 years. And that's just, I respect that completely. Like, I respect a woman like that. She's so smart. So I'm in this for the long haul because I don't want to lose my money. Okay. And so, anyway, do any patriots have a question? I'm glad look at this. We have a new microphone. We have a patriotic microphone instead of the blue microphone. Notice the blue microphone. It's a blue. Hold on, let me see if I can. It's over there. It's a piece of shit. It's a blue microphone. So obviously, I didn't like my sort of red MAGA sort of approach to live streaming. But it's what do we have? Any questions? Everybody's saying my dad hates me. My dad doesn't hate me. My dad just doesn't love me. Okay. He says I have to earn his love. And I think that's totally like in America, sorry, radical left, that we don't always get everything unconditionally. You want free housing, free food, unconditional love from your parents. That's a radical left mindset that makes us weak. I have a mindset that says, you got to earn everything, including the love from your dad, except for Ivanka. For some reason, dad's always walking around asking her, if she's going sunbathing. He's always very interested in what Ivanka's doing. Apparently, she has unconditional love, but I don't. And that's okay. That's why I hunt innocent animals in the woods and murder them, because I have to get it out of my system somehow. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. Being a hunter, a sportsman. There is something wrong with being a Hunter Biden, but not a hunting sportsman. So everybody, thank you, Reality Redemption. Very nice for you to keep posting that and trying to support JL, who's a real loser, by the way. He's not cool like me. By the way, it looks like I got some of my energy powder on my nose. Sorry about that. That's not the coolest look. It's not like a new fashion look that I'm doing where I'm like, hey, look at me. I have energy powder on my nose. It was supposed to go in my nose. That's where you get the energy. That's where you get energy. Okay. Like my dad took a bunch of it last night before his amazing speech. Did you see my dad's speech? Did you see how the radical left was like, we can't believe it. He must be losing his mind. And that's what patriotism looks like. Okay, everybody blaming Joe Biden for everything. Sleepy Joe and Hunter. And then promising more things that you can't deliver. That's called patriotism, everybody. Sorry, left, that you don't approve of my dad's great presidency. Tough shit. Somebody asked me, will I be having more kids with my new wife? Well, let's see. Probably not. Probably not. I kind of knocked it out of the park with my daughter Kai. She's like a hot golfer, and I say that in our Trump family, we're allowed to call our daughters hot. Okay, it's just the way we are. It's not like a creepy thing. But my daughter is pretty hot and she's good at golf, so I don't see any reason to have any more kids with this person that I'm engaged to, whatever her name is. I'm actually kind of not happy that my ex-wife, who I was very respectful of until I cheated with Kim Gargoyle, she is dating Tiger Woods. And doesn't that suck when your daughter loves golf and all of a sudden she's like, Daddy, Daddy, I have to go see mommy's boyfriend. And you're like, oh, is he as good at his golf as Daddy? Kind of. He's sort of the greatest golfer that ever lived and also a black. So, not the greatest situation if you're me trying to connect with your daughter after a divorce. She likes golf, and mommy's new boyfriend is a black guy who happens to be the greatest golfer of all time. So, not the greatest time to be Don Jr. Okay, not the greatest time to be Don Jr. It would really help right now if I had a dad like Sleepy Joe who could maybe love me unconditionally and tell me it's going to be okay, instead of my dad who sends me sex tapes of Tiger blasting my ex-wife, which is really upsetting. Okay, like I'm not crying. I'm not like a beta male. I'm just like, it's like, what would you do if that was your situation? I don't know, but it's not great. Okay, it's not great. Oh boy, I gotta take a break. That was intense. That was intense. That's what my therapist, Dr. Phil, calls a breakthrough. But yeah, when your daughter says she likes to golf and mommy starts dating Tiger Woods, you're sort of on the outs with your hot daughter Kai. So not great. And my other kids are sort of losers. So I don't know what I'm going to do. But why the hell would I have more kids when the chances of them turning out good are not good, as my dad would say? Oh no, I am. Oh boy. Well, I can tell you this. It would be really cool now that the live stream is back up if you went to donate to jhale.com, because this is an emotional roller coaster. First, the radical left sabotages the event, and then all of a sudden, Don Jr. is crying about his ex-wife. Weird. Looks like Daddy is going to be even angrier at me and say, you're a weak guy and not worthy of my name. So I'm actually going to get the hell out of here. My my new fiance is, she says she can't wait for me to get home. And then she wrote, wrong number, sorry. And that was weird. So I'm going to go see what she's up to. But basically, don't support JL Covan. The last thing we need is a tall, funny, strong, principled Democrat making people woke. Okay? I gotta get out of here, but he'll be back in like a minute or something. I think maybe he's in the bathroom. Who knows? He was really upset at that microphone. All right, bye everybody. Boy oh boy, Tiger Woods dating my ex-wife. Not too good. Bye, Patriots. Oh my goodness. Everybody, what an emotional roller coaster that was. Tech errors, Don Jr. having a mental breakdown over Tiger Woods. I think that's the perfect time. We don't have a donation update yet, and obviously not as many people right now because of that. We lost like half the people, it seems, because of that technical mishap. But we're picking up more people. They're coming back. Hopefully some of the West Coast people are maybe getting home or tuning in, because we've still got 2 hours, and hopefully this microphone continues to work. We've put in the new microphone. Good thing we had a backup, but what in the name of all that is holy happened there? Donate. Oh, yes. Yellow Submarine. Thank you. donate2jl.com is the best way to donate. People have been putting the mailing address. If some people want to send checks, that's cool. And I understand, but if the fastest and best way to donate is donate2jl.com, .org, .net, .ca. No, donate2jl.com. And share the website, share the link to this. Hopefully, if you had any friends who got dropped off, we're getting back towards like 100 right now, but I'd love to see this get more. If you don't mind, I'd like to just refresh the, so this goes to the top of every feed. I'm just going to reshare my post. But this hour, before we were so rudely interrupted by Don Jr. and his technical mishaps, was supposed to be about democracy. Now, we've eaten a little bit into this, and Dave Chappelle might have to be bumped. I know, crazy that we would bump somebody like Dave Chappelle from this, but we do have Cornel West and Mitch McConnell waiting to share their thoughts, talk about different opinions, different vibes. But Cornel West and Mitch McConnell, both this hour, I think that makes up for the technical mishap. But if you'll be, I did want to talk about democracy a little bit. Is everybody cool with that? Does anybody have any questions on how I would fight for democracy? Here's my thing, folks. When Kamala Harris lost, and I know people are like, hey, she blah, blah, blah. She wasn't a great candidate, and democracy wasn't a winning topic, and et cetera, et cetera. I had a reporter ask me in an interview a couple of weeks ago, they were like, how would you address that communication issue? And I said, talk better. And then I dropped an invisible mic, and she laughed, and I said, that is kind of the solution. I think what people don't realize is democracy to a lot of people and all these are abstract concepts. The one thing I will say for Donald Trump that is, I don't want to say it's good, but it's like a silver lining to his atrocity that is the Trump presidency. He goes so far. Like he has no impulse control. He has no self-worth, it seems. He cannot help but go to the absolute extreme, to the point where you go, oh, now I see how an authoritarian, an anti-democratic person who rejects rule of law, who rejects the clauses of the Constitution, now I'm actually seeing, when that goes to the extreme, how there's a connection between ignoring Congress's power of the purse and me paying more for groceries. I think people, they try to make that connection, but we still seem to be failing as Democrats a little bit in terms of making people realize there is a connection. On the margins, it may not feel that way, but Donald Trump is not a marginal figure. He is a blunt force instrument of hate and greed. So you do get to see at some point, oh, that's why I should care about congressional power. Here's why our representatives control the purse, because they are the most responsive and responsible to their constituents. The presidency a little less so, the Senate a little less. I would also bring up the fact that the Senate under Mitch McConnell especially basically became the worst version of itself. And I know he's coming in here soon and he'll probably have something to mumble about this, but I will say, make it easy for us lazy people to donate. It's a lot of work. I'm sorry that donate2jl.com. A banner. I mean, I don't know if you've been watching. I can't even, I had a microphone error. So I can put in the comments when the video is uploaded, I can put like in a pinned comment, donate2jl.com, but it's like literally all over my website. It's on all my social media, and I keep saying donate to jail. Maybe somebody can put the link. It seems like people are, if somebody can put the link in the chat. I'd said before there was an error with my chat, so I can't post individually on my chat, but YouTube does not delete links. Now I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, but donate2jl.com. And if somebody can just put it in the chat. Like I said, again, I wish YouTube wasn't giving me an error on the chat. It's a very weird thing that I've never seen happen on a live, but yeah, I appreciate you making the effort. I just really didn't realize it was difficult. If somebody, once again, I'm talking to the chat. Somebody, can you write donate2jl.com in the chat? Put the link in the chat. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Donate2jl.com, just for clarity's sake. Donate2jl.com. Bookmark it on your website or your phone. But yeah, nobody, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but nobody is posting it in the chat. I'm hoping somebody can put it above. Thank you, ICBT unit. Appreciate you. Add some moderators. Well, it's a live program and it ends in 85, 90 minutes. So I would, add some moderators. Oh yes. Sorry. I thought you meant literally like get Chris Hayes in here to moderate. I would, except again, this is causing me deep problems. The YouTube, for some reason, I've never had to use two screens just to be on a chat. I've done lives a dozen times, but obviously when I'm trying to run for Congress, YouTube was like, what if we make streaming super easy for JL every time it really doesn't matter? And the one time it matters, completely destroy him. I respect YouTube's long game here, but talking about back to democracy, I will say, I think the Senate is the biggest problem here. I think if I were to point out, I know Trump is the problem institutionally. The Senate is the biggest problem in the Trump era, because Mitch McConnell, the Senate used to be, they're called the most deliberative body because they get the 6-year terms. They get 6-year terms. I would limit them to 3 terms in my plan for term limits. That may be a lot to people, but considering where we are now, where we have people running for their 6th and 7th terms, I feel like 3 terms is a really good choice and maybe a gettable choice. My argument would be Thomas Jefferson said we need a new constitution every 19 years. We can't get a new amendment in 50 years, so I don't think the new constitution thing is happening. But I would say this: split the baby. 10 terms in the House is 20 years. 3 terms in the Senate is 18 years. In the middle is 19 years, and there you have Jefferson's design for a new constitution. At least you can guarantee new membership every generation if you can't have an entirely new document every generation. But I think that what the Senate did is, under Mitch McConnell, he isn't concerned with his own 6-year term. What people didn't realize is you will have people concerned about their own power in the Senate. So Mitch McConnell didn't operate like, I'm here, we're going to get him in here soon, but he didn't operate on I'm here for 6 years, so I have time to take the long view. He looked at it like a House member. Every 2 years, there's a new fight for power. That's the most dangerous thing. And I didn't see anybody really articulate this. When you have a Senate leader who runs as a senator with the mindset of a member of the House, you have something very dangerous, because he is never looking for the long-term health of the country or the government. He's constantly looking for short-term gain, but he has the long-term 6-year term in office. So that's one thing. Having a senator operate like that is disgusting and terrible. And he turned the body into a body that operated like that. But on top of that, he didn't vote to impeach Trump. And sadly, the founders did not envision that they would need a clause that said, people should not vote for an awful criminal. They will not be allowed. If you are a felon, you can't run for office. They didn't have that. If you try to overturn an election, I guess it wasn't explicit enough, you can't run for office. No. So instead, what we did was we let Trump get away with it. And that was the only method we had to get him out. I know people can talk about Merrick Garland. That's not my point. When I talk about the Senate has completely abandoned everything they were supposed to be. Now, Joe Manchin will fight till his dying breath. I know he's not in office anymore, but he thinks the filibuster is the most important thing. Fuck that. Get rid of it. The filibuster should be gone. At some point, we should have our representatives responsive for once to, we just passed 6K. We just passed 6K, everybody. Thank you for the update. I think that if we can't have a Senate that responds to people, like, in other words, they don't respond to voters. They also don't treat their job seriously. But having the filibuster is such a cop-out now. It allows a few Democrats to stop progress. So you could have 48 Democrats wanting something, and if Manchin, and at the time Manchin and Sinema, don't want it, then you're done. Now it's probably Fetterman who would say, no, no, no. And then Republicans love the filibuster because it allows them to say, oh, that's okay. We can't do what you want, Trump. The filibuster. This is the one area I agree with Trump. Trump is protected. His voters are protected from the worst consequences of Donald Trump by the filibuster, because they will say, no, I'm sorry, Mr. President, we want to enact your agenda. They don't, but we can't, the filibuster. So the filibuster stops, you could argue it stops the worst of Trump, but the problem is, do you see how people hate the worst of Trump? How more and more his ratings are dipping? Because if you let Trump be Trump, eventually people go, Trump sucks. And the Republicans in the Senate have it like this both ways of like, we just want the power and we want Trump to be happy. We don't want to do everything he's doing. We just want to stay here in this state of inertia where we have power and we get called senator, but we don't have to do anything. So I think the Senate has to be described in terms people can appreciate and understand. And that might have been even a little too, I think that was pretty a real description, but we need to make people connect to the consequences of the actions of the people they elect to the Constitution, to rule of law. It can't just be like rule of law, the founders. It has to be, here's why Mitch McConnell being a piece of shit is bad for you and why that connects to what the Constitution is supposed to be about. Here's why Donald Trump doing tariffs is bad. And this is a chance to connect it, to say tariffs bad because prices go up, but tariffs were supposed to be part of what Congress does. So Trump is both violating the Constitution and doing bad things to your wallet. And then maybe people start to connect. Hey, remember that last time that asshole did bad things, unconstitutional things, and it screwed us? We want somebody who obeys the Constitution. And I know that still sounds abstract, but you have to make some of these connections so that when you complain about people violating rule of law or the Constitution, you're not just sounding abstract, because then you sound like an elitist and a smarty pants. And then they go, I hate that guy. I hate that woman. So there, I would approach. That's how you have to talk about democracy in real terms and connect it to real issues in people's lives. Once again, please, yes, donate on my website. Thank you, Laura. Donate to jl.com. That's it. And if you want to find out more about me, jlfornj.com. Spread the word. Let's build this up and sign up. If you're anywhere in the Jersey area, or if you can make it out to Jersey to volunteer, whether it's driving, whether it's canvassing, we're going to need that in January. So we want to build that war chest of talent and volunteers up, as well as the money. Now, I've just ripped this guy a new a-hole in his turtle shell, but it turns out that apparently Mitch McConnell is here and wants to go toe-to-toe and defend, or hoof. What do turtles have? Do they have toes? They have hoofs? The hoof. Goodfellas quote, sorry. He wants to defend his approach to being a senator. So Mitch McConnell is going to be here in, 30 seconds. That's crazy. Let me go get him. How do I use this computer? Do I talk? Do I talk into the screen? Hello? What's going on here? I heard somebody speaking very horribly about my time in the Senate. Sorry, I almost froze there again. First of all, I'd like to correct our radical left candidate, J.L. Covan. He keeps saying his own website wrong, and he thinks he's ready to take over for me. JL4NJ.com. Guy doesn't even know his own website. And if you want to donate to him, donate to JL.com. But I wouldn't donate one of my freshly baked cookies. As you can see, I'm a chef now. I spend a lot of my time making baked goods and putting razor blades in them and feeding them to neighborhood children. This is what you guys have to understand. Being a senator is like being hooked on the world's greatest drug. I can barely move my face, but I still make it into the office every day because I love it when people call me senator. I stand by my decision not to convict Donald Trump because he scares me. I know that I may seem tough and have a tough turtle shell that you can't penetrate. But beneath my turtle shell is a layer of hate. But underneath that layer of hate is a layer of Kentucky bourbon. And under that layer of Kentucky bourbon is a tiny, almost imperceptible, itty-bitty turtle heart. And when Donald Trump threatens me and makes fun of my wife, that tiny heart breaks a little. And there's only so many videos of starving children and wounded animals that I can watch on the internet to cheer myself up. Sometimes you just have to let Donald Trump get away with it, because if I have to wake up one day and I freeze and I'm at the supermarket and they don't say, "Senator, are you okay?" But instead they say, "Hey, you old piece of shit, get out of the way." I don't want to live in that world. So if I have to sell out everybody I know to stay a senator, I will do that. Now let's see if we have any questions. What do I think about the Epstein files and the turtles? Were they harming turtles? I don't care about the young women, but were they harming my Ninja Turtle friends? Heroes in a half shell? I tell you what, I'm going to write a stern letter to Donald Trump if I find out any turtles were harmed. Young women, that's okay. I'm not going to do anything about that. But turtles are a red line that you don't cross with me. How many hours a week do you play freeze tag at work? Yeah. Oh, it almost happened again. That was not pleasant. What was the question? Something about freezing? Uh, uh, well, so don't listen to what this JL character says. Please. He thinks he's going to walk into Congress and all of a sudden be like Eddie Murphy and the Distinguished Gentleman. And all of a sudden people are going to go, "Hey, look at this breath of fresh air." I don't like fresh air. I like dank, dark spaces and the occasional leaf of lettuce in my mouth. So, if you elect this person, if you fund his radical campaign, God knows what will happen. People will start legislating, voters will start holding their politicians accountable, term limits, no more gerrymandering, bans on stock trading. Makes me want to freeze. Damn it, happened again. So, am I pleased? I'll answer one more question and then I have to get out of here because there's a black man with a giant afro apparently who has to speak. You know, we're so woke now that I let Cornel West in here. I'm a senator. I'm Mitch McConnell. I don't have to let Dartmouth or any of the Ivy Leagues talk in front of me. But somebody wanted to know what the hell. Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland. Blogging Merrick Garland was the proudest moment of my entire life. Obama, when he became president, you could see he was just like, look at me, Mitch McConnell. Remember when you stood in front of the Confederate flag and now you have a black president? And I was so darn mad. And when Merrick Garland showed up, I said, no, not on my watch. And we held that seat open. And the best part of that was not only did we hold the seat open, Sleepy Joe Biden made Merrick Garland the Attorney General. Now I move slow, but I don't move Merrick Garland slow. So it is the greatest moment of my life. It allowed us to get Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court and an Attorney General who would move slower than me and eventually let Donald Trump rule with impunity. So I will just say this. Oh, do I ever inflate my neck pouch to intimidate Congress? Watch this. Let me tell you, when I do that in front of the female interns, they all go running. I still got it, baby. So, on that note, I will leave you now. Bye. Wow. Wow, Mitch McConnell. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you want to donate extra money for the campaign, donate to jl.com, but I think I might have like torn a jaw muscle doing that blowfish maneuver. That's what I'm willing to do for art, everybody. I can't believe I may have just injured my jaw doing this, but that is sacrifice. That is sacrifice. Would that be the greatest comedic injury of all time or the worst comedic injury of all time? He was trying to earn money and he did a dangerous maneuver pretending to be Mitch McConnell, pretending to be a blowfish. Oh, I think it's healing now. It's healing. We're on a healing journey. Well, guys, we're already at the I don't know what mark this is, but we're well past halfway. And again, everybody appreciating your generosity and for the effort. But of course, our main goal here is to support the campaign, which means donate to jl.com, and jl4nj.com is my website. Apparently, I've been messing that up, even though it's right on my screen. But once I get into comedy mode, it's just, I don't know, to be honest, what it is. But we've got Cornell West coming on soon. In the final hour, it's obviously heavy hitters. It's Mike Lindell, who apparently wants to make a pitch for we are over 11,000, folks. We are over 11,000. That's big news. Come on now. That is big news. We are, come on. We've got 80 more minutes to get to that magical 15K mark. So if you haven't donated yet, and I know some people are sending checks, and I appreciate that, and those will count, but man, it would be great if we could hit that mark tonight. So we're close, and obviously we've got we've got Mike Lindell and Trump coming up, and we've got Cornell West coming up very shortly. But on democracy, once again, on the topic of democracy, because that was sort of this hour, I think the bottom line is we have maybe the Democrats, I think, have the misfortune, but also the responsibility to fight for good, to fight for more people, to fight for more action, but also to have to educate people. In a perfect world, our school system would be impeccable everywhere, and we wouldn't have things like Trump trying to teach patriotic history. But Democrats, that's the burden we have. It's very easy to be the party of no, and the party of catchphrases, and the party of we want more people to have money. It's always the Republican path is so easy, and it's so simple, and it's so wrong. And so we need people who can explain, engage, and relate the concepts that make this country great, and the ideals that make this country great, and how they apply for people in regular life. And I just feel like it's not that democracy is a losing issue. It can't be. If democracy is let's be honest, if democracy, and maybe I don't think we're there, but if we are, I would gladly take that new information and change my answer. But I don't think we're at a point where democracy is a losing issue. It's democracy the way we've been explaining it is a losing issue. And we have to relate it to people where they are, what their struggles are, how it connects to their life, why what Trump is doing is bad, so that the next time when they see a president or a lawmaker acting that way, they're on guard and they say, the last time we had a guy like that or a senator like that, bad things. And that is a generational struggle. And if you've been with me for several hours, you know that one of the things I was saying is it may not be good for slogans, and it may not be good for rallies yet until we get the right people doing the explaining and the talking. But some of these battles have to be long-term commitments. You don't do an Obi-Wan Kenobi and then all of a sudden everybody understands the importance of democracy and the importance of rule of law and how it relates to their lives. It has to be a thorough commitment. And until we only have two choices. We allow MAGA to continue to win this sort of engagement battle, or we take up the responsibility. I mean, the joke I have that was online and did well for me in one of my specials was, Democrats are like the struggling single mom, and Republicans get to be the cool deadbeat dad. And as frustrated as a hardworking single mom can be and can understandably get, they understand the choice is not, well, this is, in most cases, I don't want somebody writing like there was a woman who abandoned, but the maternal instinct overrides that frustration. As tough as it can be, as you can have down moments, because the end result of that mom giving up, or single dad, but I'm just using the generic kind of example of the deadbeat dad versus but the end result is the kid fails. And that's the result you can't have. You have to try everything you have. And in this analogy, the country is the kid. And we are burdened with educating, engaging, and trying to do good, whereas Republicans can show up every 4 years and say something blunt and swaggering and mocking, and enough people go, yeah, that's awesome. It sucks that we're in this position. That's what nobody ever says. It's like it's an honor and a privilege. It sucks that Democrats have the better people, the better policies, and do more for people, and it's not coming through clearly, because the more we get attention deficit disorder as a nation and more addicted to our phones and short form content and rage bait, the harder the job becomes. So we have to start now. We have to start turning the tide now in terms of communication and in terms of how we address these issues. We are addressing the right issues. We are talking about the right issues. The last piece is how we address them. And that's really a centerpiece of my candidacy. I know we're having fun and stuff, but I want to bring this back. Obviously, I wanted to lure you in with some comedy, but this is also a chance over 4 hours to talk about why I'm running and how I'm running. And I really do believe it's central. I am not arrogant enough to be doing this if I didn't think there was a real need for what I can bring to the table. This isn't me saying I can save democracy. This is me saying 100 people like me can maybe start the process of turning the tide. When you have a party of hate running on hate and spite, that's not a way to run a country. And we have to turn the tide. Our only choice is to stop it and turn the tide. And that means winning voters, not just calling out what's wrong, but winning over more voters, getting more disengaged voters. And I think my skill set can be part of that process. Not me alone, but I think we need more people like me to run. Regular people with certain communication skills. I think that's important. I'm not saying we need 435 of them, though it wouldn't be the worst thing. But you need a variety of skills, and one of the ones you need right now is communication. So, yes, thank you. Let's get to 15K. I agree. That would be awesome. I hope whatever you can donate, please do it tonight. We've got a little over an hour. I'm going to go get Professor Cornel West, who's going to have some interesting things to say. You know, I think he had a book called like Democracy Matters, so he's the perfect person to end the democracy hour. It's crazy. We started with Don Jr. this hour, went to Mitch McConnell, and now Cornel West, and then the last hour will be Mike Lindell and Donald Trump and myself. So let me go get Professor Cornel West real quick. All right, where do I sit down? Again, brother Jay had introduced me. Oh, what are we doing here? So I see we're having democracy in action. This is democracy, not demonizing, not destroying, but building, bridging, and bringing together. So what I have to say to you right now is it's a great honor. It's a privilege, also a pleasure to be here talking with the good people, the brothers and sisters who are supporting the strategy and the striving of Brother JL's candidacy. Now, I have to be honest with you. Democracy is in peril. Democracy is in peril. We're in a perilous journey against neo-fascists, neoliberals, Neo from the Matrix. Don't think it won't happen. AI is coming for us. But I will say this, as my goatee comes off, I get very excited. My goatee starts to come off. What I will say to you right now is I was going to support a young sister in this race, a bold, progressive sister, Ana Lilia Mejia. She's done good work with Brother Bernie. Brother Bernie, as you know, is my brother. We might have different skin tones, but we have the same color heart tones, red, but not red like MAGA red. We bleed blue, red, and white for our country. But what I will say, this is Brother Cornell West to the people in the chat who don't know intellectual, spiritual, and political thought leaders. But what I will say to you right now, I was going to support Sister Mejia. But then I saw JL, Brother JL, standing tall, proud, and strong, speaking on democracy in a way that we don't hear people talking about it, connecting, creating, and cultivating connections with our disillusioned, disaffected, and disgusted. Some of our brothers and sisters are disgusted with the process, but he's reaching out to them. He's talking to them like real people, and that's what we need. We need real people with real solutions, not fake people with fake non-solutions. So I want to see if anybody has questions for me. Cornell did change that. Thank you, Joan. I see Joan, Sister Joan, a Bloomfield icon, a progressive, righteous, and strong woman in the town of Bloomfield, recognizes that I'm not insulting Sister Mejia. I just see strength, stature, and superlatives when I look at JL and his potential candidacy to change New Jersey's 11 for a righteous, rigid, and respected Democrat. We need more, not less. I'm trying to keep this up. It is Cornell. It's what are we doing? By the way, we've crossed $12,000. The JL Telethon. Look at, I showed up and all of a sudden we hit $12,000, like the 12 days of Christmas. We're in a festive mood. $12,000. That's $1,000 per day of Christmas. $1,000 for a partridge. $1,000 for a pear tree. Well, what do I think of elder care? That's a great question. My brothers and sisters at the Reality Redemption podcast, located in Kingman, Arizona, where we don't have kings, and Paul Gosar is a psychopath. But I will say this, elder care, if we can't take, in our country, we have to take care of our elders. We are setting a horrible example. What do you say about a country that won't take care of its babies, won't take care of its elders? I say it's a country not worth caring about at all, but that's not who we are. We do care. We care about our elders. We care about our youth. And we're going to show it by throwing our support behind a righteous brother, a man from two countries, half Haitian, half Irish American, born into the Catholic Church, a man who walks righteously on a progressive path, has his firm moral convictions, but will stand up for those lesser than, who have less. He will use his strength, his stature, his might, his intellect, his humor to do better for more, not less. Somebody wants to know if I voted for myself in 2024. I don't want to get into that. I just think that now we have to move forward. And what I will tell you this is the man who will move us forward is J.L. Covan. He's in college, he was a power forward, and we need some of that righteous power to move us forward. Democrats, independents, righteous folk of all types need to see that he is the one who can lead us. He can be the start of a movement, people who can reach those who have not been reached. He has a long arm. He's a tall man. He can reach us metaphorically and literally. So I have to say, yes, thank you. I have 2 books, Democracy Matters and Race Matters. I'm just going to sit here like this in a thoughtful pose, not because my luscious, beautiful goatee is falling off, but just because I like to sit in a thoughtful pose. But are there any more questions? Because I hope if you have been enlightened, energized, and engaged by my professorial approach to politics, hit that donate button, donate to JL.com. JL for NJ, not against, for the people, for our elders, for our climate, for our democracy. Put a big man who can help us into office. A lot of small people in the race. Vote for the biggest one. Big heart, big strength, big words. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to get out of here. It's been a pleasure and honor, and I'll remember this for the rest of my life. So thank you very much. I think this JL character is coming back to re-engage, re-energize, and rehabilitate this chat once my goatee leaves. All right, thanks, Professor West. Thanks for letting me keep your T-shirt. It's crazy how I put it on so quickly. Hey, everybody. Well. Well, thank you, everybody. Loving the support. We're getting great support. We're over 12K. We got an hour left. We're on pace. 12K in 3 hours means we should hit 16K if we keep this pace. So please, everybody, donate to JL.com. Really appreciate it. That's the only way to support the campaign. You can mail the checks. Reality Redemption, if you're still out there, you've been giving me great support in the room. If you can post that address. So anybody who wants to mail a check, if you don't want to be Act Blue, fine. It's fine. We have a P.O. box. You can mail a check to us. We really appreciate it. The last hour, and thank you for everybody who's spent either part of your night or a lot of your night. This last hour it's almost like a Christmas carol. You know, I've talked about how There Is No Place for Us inspired me to do work in eviction prevention. I've talked big update. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I haven't been explicit enough, folks. I appreciate the generosity. I've always had a lot of fans donate on YouTube, but if you are donating for the campaign, you've got to use the site. And I know some people, I have foreign fans who might just be like, I'm loving the show. This is a lot of talking, but this is about the campaign, and we are so close to our goal, and this money is going to go a long way in helping us. And it's not the end of our fundraising, but you've really my comedy fans will know I sometimes complain a lot about lack of engagement, but this has been an incredibly generous outpouring from you guys. So I really do appreciate it. But the key is that you go to the site. If you are a U.S. citizen, if you're not a U.S. citizen, I'm just taking any money that goes into YouTube is a YouTube tip. That's my income for comedy and content. Donating to the campaign is the main goal here. It's the only goal, other than entertaining, obviously, and possibly informing and just letting you get to know me a little bit as a candidate, a little bit as a comedian. But jl4nj.com is the website. Learn, there's donate links there. And if you just want to go right to the donate link, donate to jl.com. Please do it. I really do appreciate this, because this campaign has already been tough. Just to be fair, I'm going up against a lot of entrenched candidates, people who, and I'm not one of these people who thinks just because you've been in politics a long time, you're disqualified. I love people with experience and passion, but I do think there is an element in this race that I'm running in of many, not all, but many entrenched sort of, it's my time, it's this, I've been propped up, or I'm looking for this job and I'm just angling for whatever my next opportunity is. And I got into this race very simply because I told you, I thought I had skills that could be of use to my party that I've voted for my entire adult life, that I don't understand why we're falling behind. And I don't necessarily just blame Democrats the way some people do. Some voters are not reachable. Like, I'm sorry, if you're a 3-time voter for Donald Trump and you loved his speech last night, I got nothing for you. I don't have time for you. I don't have words for you. But I'm talking about people who are Democrats, who are independents, who are Democrats who've maybe just fallen away or lost faith or interest or whatever in the political process. That's what I'm running for, that I think I can help reach some of those people. Not that I'm a cure-all, but that we need to start engaging more people and getting more engaging people to run. And like I said, I live in Bloomfield. I don't have a machine behind me. I have a little engine that could basically kind of for a campaign. But I believe in the cause, and I believe that just like I am a little, I don't want to say down on the country, but there is an element now where we're going through a rough phase, and you wonder how we could get to this point. But just like I still believe we have to try and fight and get to a better day, I also believe that just because I don't have a political machine behind me or 20 years as a politician or as a lobbyist or anything else, who were the first congressmen? If there were no congressmen, they were the first congressman. And every congressman who touts their experience at some point had to be a new congressman. And this idea that a citizen who cares and has some skill and some skin in the game and desire has to be shut out. I don't believe in that. And until I'm proven otherwise, I'm in it, and you guys are going to help me stay in it. And I'm going to make a name and a run at this seat if we get enough money, because I have what they're trying to buy. They're trying to buy engagement and a personality with their wealth and their experience. And I am telling you, they don't have what I have. And the more people you can get me in front of with your donations, the better off we'll be. So that's once again, that's not an issue. That's just another explanation of why I'm running. And yes, getting more people to vote. That's sort of implied, I think, in what I'm saying, is that not just people talking about things, but the vote is the critical thing. And I've run into a lot of people. Just the most interesting experience just right off the bat in this was getting over 600 signatures from strangers, mostly strangers in New Jersey, and seeing a kind of, you'd have a great conversation with somebody, and then all of a sudden, I don't do politics. I don't know, not interested, didn't know what I was talking about. And I get it. People can be busy with their lives and whatnot, but I was a little disillusioned when I saw how, even in the age of Trump, I have a buddy, I hope he doesn't mind, I'm not going to give his full name, but I have a buddy, Ross, who I've been friends with this guy for over 20 years. And he's one of my few, he's one of my few, if not my only adult friend that I just met, not through a job or in other words, we were in a class together in DC, and you rarely get those those friends can be often a little rare, because it's like, you're usually just, oh, I met people in school, then I met people at work, then I met people, like, and he was a guy he was just always a friendly, good dude, but never really talked politics with him, never seemed to be that interested in politics. It just never came up. And I remember after Trump's election, he became way more engaged. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's a good thing. And to see, in other words, it was like, yeah, now I've learned my lesson. But to be in 2025 and still running into a lot of people who are like, yeah, just kind of checked out, I'm not into politics. I go, politics is coming for you, whether you're into politics or not. And it's a little distressing at times to see how people could still be detached at this late stage. And I think Democrats, hopefully like me, but not just me, have to sort of send a message that we are about good government and that we are about people. And I think if you can restore faith in government, that government can do things, then they will see that Democrats are the ones who do things. And right now, you can't really convince somebody to get involved if they no longer just see the process at all as meaningful. Now, that doesn't mean I'm still not disappointed in some people who are like, I'm just not really into it. Really, Donald Trump is destroying the fabric and foundation of so many things in this country, both in theory and in sort of lofty terms and in real material terms. But you can't win everybody over. You can't get everybody. But we need more people who can and will draw more people in. And yes, the vote is obviously that sort of that most critical and final piece. And we need, if the House is I'm sorry, this is back to democracy, and then I have to bring Mike Lindell in here. But if the House operated like the House is supposed to be kind of crazy. It's 435 districts. We should probably have like 500 seats by now. But it's 435 districts. You can have a lot of great Congress people, like we will have hopefully in NJ 11. But you can have kooks like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. That's kind of within what the founders envisioned. Because you're supposed to be immediately responsive to your town. If your town is an erudite, snooty town, then they get the representation they want. That's what's supposed. And if you are in a blue collar town, you get a blue collar. And if you are in a town of crazy people, you'll probably get a crazy representative. But what the House under the Republicans has done is they haven't just reflected that. They no longer reflect the power they're supposed to have. They are a co-equal branch, and they're the first branch in the Constitution. And they have completely, just like the Supreme Court, sold out to Trump. They are there not as their own power. And the House is supposed to be, it's easy because we all gravitate to a powerful presidency. It's almost like in human nature. Maybe that's what the genius of the founding of the country was, that we were forcing ourselves not to gravitate towards a king. And that's what made Washington, for all his flaws, great as a president. It was the stepping down. It was the setting the tradition that he could have been a king. And it took a special leader in that first presidency because they would have let him be a king. Something in our nature, I think, wants strong leadership. It allows us to give up some of our responsibility and stress as citizens. So there is a gravity towards it. And if we get a good guy like Obama, we're like, yeah, go be a strong president. But the fact is, it's the representatives who are supposed to be controlling a lot of the action in our government. And this House has gone so far beyond that to capitulate any of their responsibilities. They are just saying, Trump, what do you want? They've bucked him a little on, obviously, the Epstein files, but the Epstein files, as horrific as that story is, 50 years from now, it's not going to be the Epstein files that we're still digging ourselves out of as a country. It's going to be the insane deregulation that the Supreme Court allowed when they undid the Chevron case. It's a million things that you're not even maybe connecting yet. That's what we'll still be digging out, because the House, in part, has, as one of our main problems, has abandoned their responsibility on the Constitution. So you need to connect people to that stuff. And the more connected the House is to the people and to their own power, the better off we'll be and the better we will be in terms of where our country is supposed to be and how it's supposed to be governed. And once again, I believe I would be, I don't seek out power, but the House is supposed to have a lot more power and strong voices that can make people realize that, oh, we don't have to just cling to a presidency as our only hope for strength in governing. The House is supposed to be governing. And I like the idea of the House being strong because I get to vote for that guy or girl, man or woman, every 2 years. So it's actually really good that they're super responsive to me and that they have power, because then I have power as a voter, as a citizen, because my rep is going in there and fighting like hell, or listening to me when I don't like what they're doing and fighting in the way I want them to fight. So that's democracy, I think, in a nutshell of what it's supposed to be. And I think we all, me included, there's a reason presidential elections are the most, attended elections by voters. But we need to start treating House and Senate elections with the same weight, because they are co-equal branches. We've just allowed them to be unequal. So that's that part of Democracy Talk with JL. Thank you for posting all that stuff. If anybody's sending a check, and once again, donate to JL. We are so close to 15K. I'm actually surprised that we might actually get our goal. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but very humbling to show, because I set that as a goal, hoping, but not really thinking we get there. And we've got Mike Lindell and we've got Donald Trump to close this show out. So if they can do one thing, gosh darn it, they can close out a show. So I'm going to go get Mike Lindell, if that's all right by you guys. And I'll be back in a minute with the My Pillow guy who's running for governor of Minnesota. And I know Trump is probably going to get here late like he always does, but that'll be the end of the show. So while I step away, please, jl4nj.com, bookmark it, sign up to volunteer if you can. If you're anywhere in the Jersey area, we're going to need volunteers, come January, because that's going to be the next phase of this is money, but then, boots on the ground and or boots on gas pedals driving me places, or whatever we need from volunteers, and donate to jl.com. So remember, I appreciate you just supporting the YouTube channel, of course, but any dollar you're pumping in tonight, if you are an American citizen, should be towards the campaign, whether it's mailing me a check to the address that's in the chat, or going to the donate page. So let me get Mike Lindell. He's such an ass, but yeah, let's go get him. Okay, be back in a minute. Where's my pillow? Who stole my pillow? Give me my gosh darn pillow. Oh boy, I never go anywhere without my handy My Pillow, made of the finest 9th tier fabrics and glass crack pipes that I use. Hi everybody, how are you? I'm founder and CEO of My Pillow. Mike Lindell with a very special offer for you. If you stop donating to JL, I will send you one free My Pillow. And if you donate to my campaign for Minnesota, I promise to get every hardworking Somalian right out of Minnesota, guaranteed. So I'm looking to see what are the questions. The donations here can help JL pay household bills. JL, I will tell you for he doesn't need any help with household bills. Who are they? What the hell are we doing? Everybody's talking about jail. Do you guys not see my giant cross? That's how you know I'm a powerful Christian who just simply wants to get Somalians out of our country. I have built a business in Minnesota, okay? The heartland. And for many of you, you may not know my story, but I was once on the street, okay, doing crack. I didn't start with crack, it started with cocaine. And then I saw a movie called New Jack City, and I said, that looks like a lot of fun. So then I started doing crack. I found myself on the street doing unspeakable things for money. And then one day, a man named Jesus spoke to me, and I became a devout Republican MAGA Christian. Now, it turns out that that guy wasn't Jesus Christ. He was just a guy trying to collect money that I hadn't paid for my most recent crack purchase. But nonetheless, I thought it was Jesus Christ, and I gave my life over to Republican MAGA Jesus Christ. I became pro-gun, pro-cutting welfare programs, pro-making crappy merchandise using tax breaks and bribes from my Republican friends. And I built My Pillow into the 930th most successful pillow company in Minnesota, which is really saying something because we're the pillow capital of the Twin Cities. St. Paul doesn't have shit on us in terms of making pillows. So what I will say to you now, as I hold up my big cross to show what a big MAGA Republican Christian I am, is that Donald Trump is as strong a leader as I've ever seen. Did you see his speech last night? Do you think anybody else, including this JL fella, could give a speech that was supposed to be 35 minutes long in 12 minutes without taking a breath? That's got to be some kind of a record. I know Mr. President Donald J. Trump was taking some of Don Jr.'s energy powder, but just like when Barry Bonds was on steroids, I don't care if he was on steroids. It doesn't make you that good at baseball. And let me tell you something, energy powder from Don Jr. does not make President Donald Trump that good at speaking fast without breathing. So I will say this. Oh, and somebody likes me in Cuomo. Well, thank you very much. If you like me, you know what you do during a telethon? You're supposed to go donate. I'm told donate to jl.com, but I was hoping people would go to SaveMeFromMyCrackAddiction.com. That's my campaign website. And I send everybody a free My Pillow for every donation, even though they say that's technically illegal. With Donald Trump as president, illegal is a very nebulous term. I just learned that word. I like it, nebulous. It sounds like you know what nebulous sounds like? It sounds like a family of Somalians coming to Minnesota that I'm going to kick out. Uh-oh, look out, it's the Nebulous family. They're coming to work 3 jobs. We don't need that kind of work ethic in our town. Here's the problem, everybody. When you have hardworking immigrants coming into my town, you know what they don't need? Luxurious, comfortable pillows because they're too busy working, building our community to need sleep. So I want more people who don't work jobs, who don't work as hard, because then they'll be looking for an affordable piece of crap pillow that they can rest their head on while they're not working, like so many of Donald Trump's supporters. I have made a killing selling these babies on Newsmax, OAN, and Fox News, almost to the point where I'm only $500 million away from paying off my Dominion voting lawsuit debt. So please, if you can please buy my pillows, donate to my website. If you're a big liberal and you like JL, who, by the way, He may go to church every Sunday, but he doesn't have a big, beautiful cross. I will tell you this, you go to donate2jl.com if you're a radical left nasty who wants some anti-Trump clown in Congress messing it up for the rest of us. But if you like grift and you hate immigrants and you love Donald Trump and you love guys who rose from the ashes of the crack pipe to make crappy pillows and possibly relapse if I go bankrupt again, go to MikeLindell.com and donate your life savings to my account. We don't have any campaign limits here because I'm friends with Donald Trump. JL is obeying all the rules because he's a goody two-shoes loser like all the rest of the liberals. So I want to see if there are any questions in this chat. Donate while you're listening. Reality Redemption has been doing a great job with the address for all those people who like checks. Is this Caroline Levitt's cross? No, it's not Caroline Levitt's cross. Mine is much bigger than hers. She wishes she had this kind of a cross. If I were a press secretary, I'd be blinding people with my powerful cross. So anybody, and by the way, everybody, if you can please tell on social media, please share the post because in 10 minutes, our president, Donald J. Trump, is going to join this live stream and the numbers are going to go through the roof. He's the closer. If anybody's going to stop this radical left mutant, you ever see how tall this guy is, JL? He's 6'7". He's probably like 7'5". I'm like, what are you, Victor Wembanyama? Well, let me tell you something. Trump is going to stop you from donating that last half hour. We don't want him to hit his goals because if JL gets to Congress, it's lights out for people like me and for our president, Donald J. Trump. We want a nerd. You wouldn't believe how many nerds there are in this contest in NJ11. JL is the one guy. He looks like he hits the gym, although he says he's not because of some shoulder injury because he's a beta liberal pansy. But he looks like a big guy who might be into MMA. And I know he's not, but he might fool some of our voters in thinking this guy's like me. Don't get him into Congress. He's like a Trojan horse. He's like an alpha male with a beta inside. It's very disturbing to us. Usually you can spot them a mile away. If you look at the NJ11 contestants, they all look like classic liberals. They'd rather be at a pottery class than doing MMA fighting. But JL's different. He talks real good like a smarty pants, but he looks kind of like a bruising piece of work. So don't put this brick shithouse into Congress. And that's all I have to say. Please go buy my pillows. I'm really struggling right now. And if you can, vote for me for governor of Minnesota. I swear I will ruin our state and blame Democrats, even though I would be governor. Thank you. My name is Mike Lindell, and I approve this message, and I also very much miss crack. JL's coming back. I can hear him. I'm getting out of here. Bye. Oh, man, Mike Lindell, what a nightmare that guy is. Hey, everybody, what's up? How's it going? We're in the home stretch. I thank you for being here. We're at 90. We're not at our peak, but if you can share on social media that Trump is joining, just in case you got friends who are big fans of mine, I really want to get to that final level. If anybody's got if you haven't donated yet, or you're thinking, you know what, 4 hours is quite a long time for this charade, I'll give a little bit more. It'd be so great if we could get to 15K. I know we're close. And even if we don't, it's been a phenomenal night. And I thank you all very, very much. But if we can get there, that would be really quite special. So I just want to open it up, since this is going to be my last long stretch before President Trump, he insisted in his contract that he close out the show. So, I respect the office, even if the office holder doesn't respect it. So I'm going to let him close. But can people, I would love it if people, any questions you have on anything, policy, politics, life, whatever you want to either get to know me or as a candidate, or if you want to feel more confident in donating to me, it's open. Trump Kennedy Center honors. I will say this, just on a personal pride note, on Making Podcasts Great Again, my podcast As Trump that I do every week. I called it the Trump Kennedy Center for Patriotic Arts in like April or May, I think. I've been calling it that on the show since. So it just became official. The man, if the consequences weren't so scary of his presidency, it's hilarious. He just goes eventually to parody. He just, because he has no off button, he has an insatiable pit inside of him that just cannot be satisfied with wealth, with women. It's just the insecurity. It's a black hole inside him. So that always ends up getting to some sort of extreme, ridiculous level. The problem is he's president, so the consequences are very dire. Yes, $11 for, thank you. He was great. Wait, who was great? I'm still going. What do you mean was? Am I dead? Am I gone? Any questions? Seriously, I will. What platforms am I streaming from tonight? YouTube. Just YouTube. I'm sorry, you're asking. I'm not streaming. I just posted like a link to my YouTube channel. Trust me, if you were here from the beginning, colossal errors. Don Jr. ruined our sound system. But yeah, we're doing all right tonight. So my favorite MLB team. Okay. What platforms can you follow me on? I'm on every platform, Citizen Morgan 7444. I'm on Instagram. I'm on everything, I think. Everything. I'm JL Covan, JLCAUVIN. So just, you can follow me anywhere, obviously, for updates. And obviously bookmark the website if you can, sign up to volunteer, and donate to JL.com. I haven't gotten an update. I'm sure it's slowed down, but I'm hoping there's some angel investor who just is waiting to be the one that puts us over the top. They're like, I got $1,000 right here that I'm about to drop to be the hero. Hit the game-winning shot. Everybody right now, you can be that person. Donate to JL.com. My favorite MLB team is the New York Yankees, but I will say this year, I have been fading from baseball. I'm an Aaron Judge fan, and I think it's just an affinity thing. He's a giant 6'7" biracial guy. It's kind of hard for me not to be a fan of his, and he's a great player. But over the years, the Yankees, as politics has become more ingrained, and I know some people would say you don't like people for their politics. Not until Trump. Trump is not politics. This is the thing. And I think somebody may have said this. I forget what journalist may have said it. Trump is culture. Trump is not politics. Trump is bigger than politics. Trump is culture. Trump is who you are. I think it was actually Jimmy Kimmel's wife. She said it's not about politics. It's about values. And to me, supporting Trump at this point, I have friends who have very few, but I have friends who have voted for Trump in the past, and they may still hate Democrats, but they walked away at a certain point. January 6th for a friend was a breaking point. He doesn't like Democrats anymore, although I'm hoping he'll support me. But if it's not about politics, and that's the thing. They will say, oh, you don't like somebody because of their politics. Joe Biden was my president. Joe Biden was a politician. I will defend what Joe Biden did. I will not defend if I think Joe Biden did something wrong, or if maybe he was certainly not equipped for a second term. But I'm just saying, he was my president and a politician that I supported. It didn't go beyond that. Donald Trump always goes beyond that for his people. That's the point. They hide behind politics. They say, you can't talk to me because of politics. You don't like Trump because of politics. You like him because of culture. You like him because he is bigger than politics, because he consumes and subsumes everything. He makes you feel strong. You like that he's a bully. You like that he says the things you can't say at work without getting fired. You like that he treats women terribly. You like the fact that he's got lots of money and he's new rich and he's vulgar. All the things you want to be, the id inside you wants to be, you can't be. So he is everything to you. Trump supporters do not support him for politics. Politics is part of the package. They support him because he is their culture warrior. He is their mascot. He is their life. So when you say, oh, you don't like me because I don't support Trump, because you say it says everything about you. It says everything about you that you still support Trump. This isn't because you like his policies. What fucking policies? He's a nightmare. He's a horrible human being. He's a bull in a china shop, if we can put it in nice terms. And I own a china shop. And you're asking me, you support the bull destroying my democracy china shop, and then go, what? You don't like me because I just like the bull's politics? His politics are fucking up my world. And you stand by and allow that to happen and are cheering it. So no, it's not politics, it's culture. You like him because he is this piece of shit. And then you want to hide. You want to go, no, politics. No, you hate us. And I know it's not helpful to say us, but fuck it, 10 years into Trump, we can make some generalizations about people who've supported Trump for 10 years. Sorry, that's reality. And to me voting Democrat, I have done shows for people, all red audiences, and I'm talking MAGA red. And I remember they loved my show. They laughed at most of my jokes. They loved the Trump impression. But I remember in this one show in Emporia, Virginia, right near the border of North Carolina, the guy who booked me, a really nice guy, solid guy. But the crowd was like, when I mentioned I was a Democrat, and I was trying to soften them up, like, hey, I'm a Democrat. Do we hate? I felt like they hated me in that moment. And I was there entertaining them. And it was almost like you had said something horrific to them. And so a lot of them, I shouldn't say they like they are one group. They have many different reasons, but they all love Trump. And the Trump thing is culture. It is not politics. So yes, would I not date somebody who supports Trump? Would I not want to actively hang out with people who support Trump at this point? Yes, because it says a lot about them. This is not an issue of, but it's politics. If it was just politics, you wouldn't still be riding with Trump because he's a fucking horrible politician. He's a great messenger of hate, but part of politics is getting things done. I know I've been pitching myself as a messenger, as somebody who could make a strong message and appeal to more people. I also understand that the job is fighting for and enacting policies that make your constituents happy and your people better off. So but he is not good at that. So if it's politics that you like with him, then you would have abandoned him long ago. You like the culture war. You like the hate that he spews. So yes, it's not me. Oh, you won't be with this person because of politics? No, Trump is not politics. Trump is something bigger and nastier and worse than politics. So that's sort of how I feel on that. And I do hope, if everybody in here could give a couple bucks more, if there's somebody who's been waiting with one big killer donation, I'd love it. But donate to jl.com and jl4nj.com is the general website. I hope you will bookmark those sites. I hope if you're feeling generous or there's another instance where we need money, because as this goes on, each money burst allows us to advance further. But it's so gross. And I'm learning that almost, I know we all say it, just like running for office is hard. You don't know how hard it is until you're in it, because of the stress is not something you can quantify in the abstract. But the money thing, it's gross to keep asking, but it is like I said, I will do more with the money I have than anyone else in this race could do with the same amount of money. So the more money I get, it will have more of an impact. So, if we could just we got 25 minutes to get to 15K. If you got another couple bucks, please, that would be awesome. If you got a friend who wants to donate, I know there's that person who was like, I got $250 waiting for you. Go. But we've reached that point in the night where just the rules are the rules. I have to go get he was here early in the night, but I have to go get the 45th and 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. So if you'll just stay with us through this, it's probably going to be gross, but please, maybe it's worth it. Okay. After I just said he's awful, let's go get the awful man. I'll be back in less than a minute. All right, all right. What is this? So they bring me into close. What a sad bunch of Democrats. How sad is this? How sad are these? I love Democrats. Oh, we have to donate. I could donate. He's begging for $15,000. I could fart $15,000 if I wanted and win this race. No problem. I saw somebody said, who said this? In Canada, donations. Well, we're not in Canada anymore, Dorothy. Is that was Wizard of Oz? How does the spending and money you have compare to other candidates in the race? Well, here's the thing, Dwayne Lawson. Thank you for the question. I can answer this for the failed candidate, JL Chabani. Is he like the yogurt guy? Whatever. The point is, there's people in this race that I respect. They have what's called PACs. You ever heard of PACs? Political activity cash. I don't know. It means they have a lot of cash. There's people with hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think one candidate is approaching maybe $1 million. And this is because they need to buy the publicity. The one thing I'll say for JL, he's sort of very good at messaging. He's very good at the social media. Although he doesn't have a Truth Social account, so it's kind of pathetic. But you realize how many dollars he could get if he was on Truth Social? I think we just added our 8th Democrat to Truth Social, so they would probably donate at least, $5 of their SNAP benefits or whatever the hell the radical left does these days. So it's very sad. I will say this. I like the donors. I like the candidates with big donors, the ones with lots of money. And that's how I operate. And JL is sort of doing this humble. He's just like, please, everybody, if you care about democracy and you want a strong new voice in Congress, please donate what you can. And that is such a sad way to do it. What I would do, and these are the hints I'm going to give. And by the way, just if you go to donate to jl.com, okay? Donate to jl.com. If you can make one more donation, if you can get a friend to donate, it's, we want him to get to like $14,920 and just cry tonight when he goes, I was almost there, sir. I almost had it, and I didn't know I was going to go so close. It's so sad, so pathetic for me. Bye-bye. But I will say this. I don't know what I was going to say, to be honest. It's been a long night. Hasn't it been a long night? What, does anybody have questions for me? Why does nobody have questions for me? I'm the president, for crying out loud. Sir, that's a good start. Somebody said, sir. Sir, is there built-up residue in your diapers from your strong, powerful farts? Well, there is a tremendous show, and I normally don't like British shows, but there's a show on Apple TV. Ever heard of this? Apple TV. Who knew fruit had TV? We used to have like 3 channels, and now we have so many channels that fruit is, When's Banana getting their network? But Apple TV has a show called Slow Horses, and there's not a single friggin' horse in the whole show, so it's sort of deceiving. I know Ivanka, she likes horses. She likes equestrian. They call it equestrian. Isn't that stupid? Why don't they call it horse racing or horse riding? Equestrian. That's what I hate about words. They try to get all fancy with the words. But there's a show called Slow Horses, and this is, of course, a question about my diapers, which are very strong, by the way. I have a brand. It Depends. Have I heard of Depends? Depends reached out to me and they said, "Sir, you're so good with our diapers. We'd like to call your diapers certain." Because depends sounds like, I don't know, will it keep the poop in? Depends. How big is your poop? Depends is like a question. It's like, depends. I don't know. Certain, Trump certain diapers is like, will it hold your big poop? I call my poops number 3 because they're so much bigger than the average number 2. Because when you eat McDonald's 27 meals a week, you make very strong poopies, as my doctor calls them. I see a pediatrician for my health needs because I like to do the highlights magazines. I do the highlights, and then I play with the toys, and then he does an examination for me, and he says I'm a big boy, and so I like going to the pediatrician. But I lost my train of thought. But I do big poopies is the point, and when I do a big poopy, it stays in the diaper because I call it certain. So what I will say is, in the show Slow Horses, there's a person. His name's Gary Oldman. Okay, he's pretty old. It's a tough name if you're not old. Imagine being young and your name was Old Man. But a Gary Oldman, and a woman in the show very rudely said to him, "Did you fart?" Fart. That's "did you fart" in American. And he said, mostly. And that's how I feel about my farts. They're mostly fart. There's also some substance there. The average person farts, and it's just like it's just gas. It's just gas. It's beautiful, neat, natural, the most natural gas, if you think. Imagine we could power our great energy on farts. Nobody's talking about that. The Green New Scam doesn't talk about fart energy, but imagine we could do fart, and you could fart into your car in the morning. Imagine we invented, nobody's trying to invent this. You just sit on your tailpipe and you go, and all of a sudden your car is going 60 miles per hour. Nobody wants to turn. No, they want solar. They want wind. They want EVs. No, I say fart-powered cars are the future, and we're going to invest very strongly in fart-powered technology. But to answer your question, that's what I do with farts. I think that was, people would call that a strong weave. I think it was a weave. I think it was a weave to end-all weaves. We are trying to get more donations for this failed candidate. He's not even, the candidate it's still going on, the race for NJ 11. And I will say this, somebody said, what superficial characteristic? Is that what somebody said? I thought somebody had a question. Let's do question. What is your New Year's resolution? My New Year's resolution is to finally get Ivanka to divorce Jared, and so we can be together. Kiss my Pence K6185. Oh, that sounds like it's Pence. Sir, what superficial trait are you going to target JL with? Well, JL, if you look at him, he's so tall that sometimes you don't get a good look at his face. It's like he's way up there. Oh. Okay, this is one of those weird things. People keep telling me JL4NJ.com. Oh, shit. We're 2,000 from our goal, people. We've got 15 minutes. 2,000. Honestly, and I know this is asking a lot, but 100 people, $20 a pop, we get our goal. But obviously, some of you can't do that, but some of you could do more. But that's just a nice question from your president on behalf. I can't tell if she was handing me the wrong. I just keep saying JL4NJ.com, JL4NJ.com. It's like remember The Shining when he writes "work all day makes Jack Nicholson" or whatever he typed in the typewriter. JL4NJ.com. Everybody bookmark it so I don't have to keep saying JL4NJ.com. And obviously donate to JL.com. This is the thing about campaign managers they don't tell you about. All they do is tell you, remember the donate, remember the donate, remember the donate. So I remember the donate, and then all of a sudden they care more about the website. JL4NJ.com. JL, he's for NJ.com. Trump is for me. That's how you decide. That's how you see the difference between Trump and JL. But a one more round to get to 15K. Oh boy, this has been 4 hours of strong strength from your president and a lot of other people. Mr. President, what is the moon? The moon is some people think it's a star. Some people think it's when you pull your pants down and show your butt. Some people think there's a man on the moon, and REM wrote a very strong song about it. And other people just think the moon is just a made up thing, a fake thing they hung up in the sky. And I sort of agree with that. I think it's probably a made up thing. It's probably fake, very strongly fake, but incredibly fake. So we're looking into moon, though. We're going to look into the moon very strongly. So what would I say to Gavin Newsom if he was watching right now? Well, he thinks he's so handsome, and he's not that handsome. But oh wait, the superficial thing before I was interrupted. Donate, 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 everybody. We got 13 minutes. Come on, we can get it. But let's be honest. JL's not going to get to 15K, and then I'll win. So congratulations. I will celebrate very strongly when he comes up. Just so close. He couldn't quite get to 15K. Oh, so close. Oh, but too bad. His people abandon him, and Trump wins again. But I will say this: JL is so tall that people don't look at his face often. But if you get right up into his face very closely, I really thought we had a Sleepy Joe sort of situation. But when you look into this guy's eyes, Sleepy JL, I don't even think he's sleepy. Exhausted JL. I would call him exhausted JL. Sleepy sounds nice. Sleepy's one of the seven dwarfs, but there's no exhausted dwarf. Imagine there was an exhausted dwarf. Now, Snow White was exhausted, and that was my favorite part of the movie. I thought it was so horrible how they had to remake it. You know, one of the great pleasures of being a Prince Charming, as I am, by the way, is when you see a lady sleeping, you just go and smooch her. It's one of the great. And now they're totally taking away all the great things that we used to do as Prince Charmings. Now we're banning Prince Charmings and we're making them be Prince Consent. And Prince Consent is a loser. Prince Charming doesn't need consent because he's charming. It's called charm. And we're really doing horrible things in terms of princes. I mean, we killed Prince in Minnesota. That might have been Mike Lindell. I think Mike Lindell was just scared because he was like, in his voice, he was like, what's this Bayek doing in Minnesota? So we have to investigate whether he had anything to do with the death of Prince. But no, but here's the thing, Citizen Morgan. I'm asking you to donate to JL because I want to see this guy fail. But if he doesn't get the money, then he'll go out quietly. He'll say, thank you, everybody, for your support. I have to go now. It didn't work out. That's not the proper ending for his political career. I want his political career to end in a big, horrible way where it's like, oh, he lost by 2 votes in the general election, and now Republicans win the seat, and everybody's saying it's JL's fault we lost the seat. And then when he goes to his local diner in Jersey or gets on the train, everybody will point at him and say, it's your fault, you nasty, failed comedian, lawyer, attorney, politician. So that's what I hope. So I want him to stay in this so that I can see him lose like a dog. Right now, he would be losing like a cat, like quiet in the corner. Nobody cares. But if he loses like a dog, it'll be big and loud and sad, and everybody's going to laugh. And they're going to say, oh, boy, he thought he could do it, and he can't do it. So if he could just get all these strong donations, we got 100 people left, and we've got 10 minutes. This is up to you, folks. We can do it. We can make it. If you've been holding off on donations, you can get this guy onto a bigger stage where he can fall like a big tall dog, like a Great Dane, but we call him a not so Great Dane. And he's not even Danish, though he looks like he eats Danishes. And, I like Danishes too, to be honest, but just a standard cheese Danish, you get the, and I ever have a cheese. I used to always wonder, I'm not a big cheese person, but all these desserts have cheese. I was like, cheesecake, why the hell would I want cake with cheese? And why the hell would I want cheese Danish? It sounds like I like a grilled cheese, but why would I want dessert? And then all of a sudden I realized it was not really cheese. It was just a name. And we got to change that. I want to do an executive order banning the use of cheese in desserts in names because it's very deceptive. And there were many years where I could have been eating cheesecake, but I thought it was cheese, not like cream cheese mixed in with sugar and fat and delicious things that make for a beautiful dessert, especially when you're at the Cheesecake Factory. I love the Cheesecake Factory, probably my favorite factory. Unless I hope they don't unionize at the Cheesecake Factory because I will shut that down so fast your head would spin. So, should you take NVIDIA on the dip? Well, I've always wondered. Thank you for asking that question. NVIDIA is one of those strange things. I feel like they used to make facial cream, and then they moved into AI, which is interesting. I didn't think they could do both, but they're very versatile in terms of company. But uh, boy, oh boy, yes, Ellen, you are right. 4 hours, no breaks. This is a boy, oh boy. Good thing I wore this extra strong Trump certain diaper because it is strong and it is powerful. Do they make orange flavored cheesecake? That sounds disgusting. Do I like JL's impression of me? Yeah, no, it's no, I don't. The person who I prefer is there's a person, Tyler Fisher. He goes on Gutfeld a lot. I love his impression because it doesn't make me question myself. When JL does my impression, I sometimes get trapped and I go, that's a good idea. We should do that. And then somebody says, sir, that's actually the person mocking you. And I hate it. I hate it. It's a horrible thing they do. So we've got 8 minutes. 8 minutes, everybody. I can barely speak. And my wallet is very thick with money, by the way. So it's actually denting into my strong posterior because I've been sitting on this very large money wallet, which is full of money. But uh, Godfrey does a good one. Well, you know what? You're entitled to your wrong opinion, but I've talked to people close to Godfrey, and they know can I do the Godfrey one for you since you want to bring up Godfrey? You want to bring excuse me. This is okay. You're a nasty person. You're a nasty person. See how that sounds like the Godfrey? Nasty person. Excuse me. These are not what we do. The blacks. The blacks. We love them. I love the blacks. You see my black soldiers? I love my black soldiers. It's a very generic, smooth kind of. Whereas he doesn't get into. You hear this? You hear where I am? This is where I am. I took and I should have. It's it's when people do the easy one, it's out of the mouth. Excuse me, you can't do it. It's all here. It's all here. A real one gets in the throat. It gets in the throat. You're back here. You're back here. It's a little gravelly. It's breathy. You got to get the breath. It's not here. This is what people usually think is a good impression. Excuse me, you can't do that. That's what Jamie Foxx does also. But what I do, I get here and I can be calm. I can be, and boy, oh boy, I can be mad as you would. Look at that! Look at that guy. It's a little more guttural. It's a little more back of the throat, and it's breathy. You got to get the breath, okay? So don't you ever bring up a lesser Trump impersonator. These are people with, excuse me, these are people with talent, okay? I'm not saying these aren't talent. Godfrey is an incredible talent, okay? Tremendous talent. I have paid to see him, okay? I respect the talent, but don't ever come in here with there's one and one only, and I'm Donald Trump, okay? And I approve this message. So 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. I once heard a black say that, so I quote that. The show. This is called The Show. Okay, that's from my youth. That's when I was dominating the 80s. That is strong Dougie Fresh featuring Slick Rick. Okay, if you don't know the show, it's one of the great hip hop tracks. When hip hop was great, we're gonna make hip hop great again. That was what it was. Mr. President, I'll donate to you to jail if you donate into your Depends right now. It doesn't have to be like super solid, right? Because that was forced out very strongly. I hope that counts. Anyway, beautiful. We've got 5 minutes left. I'm disappointed that not more people respected the Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick random thing. But you know what? You can't please all the people all the time or any of the time, it turns out. But in 5 minutes, we're wrapping this up. This has been a great honor for me. Okay, it really has been. I'm very proud to have helped in any way to get this very nasty radical left tall guy money that he needs for ads, for support, for whatever the hell he is. When he doesn't even have a car, he's taking cabs all over New Jersey trying to meet people. It's very sad if you think about it. He just shows up to places by himself. He's like the John Wick of sad politics. He's like, I left my dog at home and I'm here to discuss politics. And people look at him and they're like, the Baba Yaga. And he's like, no, I just think Democrats need someone better. We will announce the final numbers tomorrow. Okay. Look at these instructions I'm getting like I'm not a strong president. Like I don't know what the hell to do. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh. Thank you very much. Guys, it was me the whole time. It was me. Did you even know? This has been a real tremendous experience. I'm tired, but I could do this for a lot longer if I needed to, but people have to go to sleep. I have an ad to film tomorrow. I have fresh baked chocolate chip cookies waiting for me as a reward. And I'd like to thank, she's in the other room. But Laura, first and foremost, has been manning all of this. She set up my 2 screens when my screen failed. She's been monitoring donations and giving me messages from my campaign manager from the living room to here. She's been watching the 2 dogs. She gave up on her 4 hours of trash TV that she thought she was going to have because I was going to be locked in the office all night. Instead, she gave that up to help me. I've joked that being a stand-up comic and being a politician is like saying, boy, I'm a dick to the people around me because there is a selfishness in those pursuits. But thank you first and foremost to her. She's in the other room, probably just going, that was nice that you said that about me. But, and I want to thank everybody who joined. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties midway, but I hope this was entertaining. I hope you got to know me a little bit better as a candidate. I thank every single one of you who showed up to watch, who commented, even if your comments were sometimes getting into the insult range. We had over 135 people donate in this 4 hours. That's incredible. It just means a lot that you showed up and that you've decided to put some of your faith and some of your money into this campaign. I will not let you down. I will maximize my effort and my reach with every ounce in my body and make every dollar you gave count and worth something. I really do. I wouldn't be BSing you guys. I really do think if we can just break through a little bit in this campaign, we can break through a lot. I've seen how people respond when I talk in person and when I'm at these events with the other candidates. There's a lot of talented people. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of public servants in this race, but they don't have what I have. And I say that like, it may not be humble, but it's also not arrogant and it's not an exaggeration. And I think what I have is something that can be of use to the Democratic Party. And I'm so grateful that you took time out of your night. I hope I made it entertaining and somewhat informative, that if you didn't know a lot about me, you learned a little bit about my comedy, a lot about my approach to governing and what I think is going wrong in this country and where I can help. And I won't drag this thank you on for too much longer. We're at 10:59 p.m., but it means so much that you guys joined. And I hope you will sign up at jl4nj.com. If we need volunteers, if you can share the website, if you know people that couldn't make this, or maybe you could show them this stream when it's up on YouTube, or just share the website, convince them that this is a candidate and a candidacy worth supporting and keeping in this race, because I swear the longer I stay in, the better it gets. So thank you. Thank you to Laura. Thank you to everybody who contributed, who came by, for your comments, for your support. We're doing this. And I think it's nights like these, they're tiring, but I'm going to wake up really energized because of all the support tonight. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy what's left of your night, and thank you for spending it with me. And I can't wait to make this ad and start getting materials that I can start just reaching out to everybody. I needed you guys to help me so that I can reach all the people in my district who don't know me yet. Because once they know me, they will hear the argument. They will many of them will respond to it, and I think we can really make something happen here. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. It's not too late. Off the chat, obviously, get those checks out if you're among those people who are writing checks and want to mail them. So appreciative of that. Get them out now, not now, but like tomorrow. And just if you didn't have a chance to donate tonight, donate to jl.com. Good night, everybody. I'm happy I was able to connect with all of you and to use what are my skills to hopefully make for an enjoyable and worthwhile night, and worthy of your donation. So thank you and good night, everybody.